Leeds United getting us underway then. Another step on the road to season-ready fitness this afternoon. Lingard's in here, what a chance and what a start for Manchester United. In just the 3rd minute of the game. Elanga, fine finish, really well struck. United beaten in pre-season and lost 4-2, but credit to United's youngsters who came back strongly.
Good exercise again, good learning for some of the young ones. Towards the end, I enjoyed the football the kids played. You know, they came in, conceded a few goals, and they could have crumbled, but they got hold of the ball and scored a very good goal. All newcomers in the Premier League are welcome. It creates another feeling and gives us something new. Thoroughly deserved, because they've been so close a few times, and I was very happy for Thomas and the Scandinavian link that I of course enjoy. Well, hopefully we'll play some good football and the atmosphere will be good in it.
Touchdown by Bruno Fernandes. Here's Cavani. Cavani's gone for the chin. Old Trafford has a new icon. Cavani.
It's the Reds' 3rd game of pre-season and the fans are back. About 30,000 are expected at Old Trafford this evening to watch Manchester United take on Premier League Brentford. It is brilliant to see the Reds back in force, and of course we hope to build upon this, have maybe 55,000 for the Everton friendly, and then can we get a full house for that Premier League opener against Leeds? But this is an important stepping stone on the road to the first game in the new Premier League season. It's Manchester United against Brentford. The action coming to you from Old Trafford in about 45 minutes time. Yeah, welcome alongside me, a man of many a pre-season with Manchester United, Mr. Dennis Irwin, United legend. And Dennis, we've spoken quite a lot about the opening 2 games in this pre-season campaign, beating Derby, losing to QPR. This, though, is a different test, isn't it, against a Premier League side who will be more like a match for us fitness-wise. They're the same kind of level in terms of their preparation.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 games we've had against QPR and Derby, they obviously season starts a week earlier, so they'd have been slightly ahead of us fitness-wise. So Brentford would be on a par with us, I'd say. So it's interesting. Listen, it's great that we're at Old Trafford. Very rarely do we get a pre-season game here at Old Trafford, so it's great to be at Old Trafford with some fans, 30,000 in, so I'm really looking forward to that. But it's just the progression of the last 2 games to make sure the lads get fitter and fitter, get game minutes under the belt, as I say. And yeah, just to put on a bit of a show here as well, because listen, I know it's a pre-season game, but losing to losing to QPR on Saturday is not great. But we'll have to move on, and hopefully we'll see 1 or 2 extra faces here tonight.
Just hearing some of the fans applaud some of the Brentford players coming out strolling onto the pitch. I mean, it's great to see Brentford in the Premier League. They were knocking on the door so often, weren't they? And, you know, in their journey here, they've had to sell big players, the likes of Ollie Watkins, for example. Their army went to West Ham. But they've managed to get here, and they will be relishing not just this pre-season friendly game against United, but meeting us here in a competitive Premier League game soon. Yeah,
I got to say, fully deserved as well. Solly, the year before last, for me, they surprisingly lost to Fulham in the playoff match. I thought they're probably guaranteed to come up, but to be fair to them, you know, they came back, they bounced back, they sold a couple of players, brought a couple in, and had a really strong season last year. Finished it really well and fully deserved to beat Swansea at Wembley to get up into the Premier League. And I think they will be a bit of a surprise as well. I think they play good football. I think the manager has gone in there. Thomas Frank has gone in and done very, very well. They've only signed 1 player so far, a young lad from Chelsea, but they'll be relishing it. You know, they've moved to a new stadium, and I suppose it's a new adventure for them.
Yeah, the midfielder Onyeku's coming as well, I think. But yeah, they're in a similar situation to us. There's a trio of stars not joining the group yet because of their exploits out in the Euro. But we do have a couple of back with news of the starting lineup, and indeed who's on the bench will no doubt play in that second half. It's Stuart Gardner.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. We did bring you the team news about an hour ago on the official Manchester United app. Let's just reconfirm it for you. This is the Manchester United 11 to take on Brentford today. A couple of changes from the starting lineup. QPR at the weekend. Pellistri and James dropping down to the bench. Elanga and Mata coming into the lineup. This is how we think United are going to start, with Tom Heaton in goal. Back four, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Axel Tuanzebe, Ted Mengi and Brandon Williams. Andreas Pereira and the captain, Nemanja Matic in the centre of midfield. Then Lingard, Mata, Elanga, who's been really impressing in pre-season, and Greenwood. It's a bit of a movable feast, that front four, but certainly plenty of threat in there. Mostly a young bench, but a couple of players who haven't yet featured in pre-season for various reasons, Diogo Dalot and Donny van der Beek. Hopefully they're going to get some game time for the first time in pre-season at Old Trafford this evening. Ben Thornley is alongside me, and obviously Ollie only has a limited number of options because some players aren't back yet. But that looks a pretty positive lineup.
Yeah, and it's another chance for these young lads to impress. Obviously, I think over the next week to 10 days, we're going to see the introduction of a few more players that have either been absent through injury or obviously been away with their respective teams in the Euros and in South America. But yeah, it's another opportunity, because they're not ready yet, for these young lads to go out and impress. And I know that results don't mean a lot in pre-season, but there'll be something eating away at Oliver. He wouldn't have been happy about conceding 4 goals. And they'll just want to, especially in front of our home fans tonight, put on a really good show. Young
Elanga has been impressing, hasn't he, in pre-season? He was good again at the weekend, and he starts tonight.
Well, we saw a lot of him last year, before and after he got his injury, Stuart, and he's been excellent. He's a real threat with the pace to be able to run in behind, and he scored a wonderful goal on Saturday against QPR and could arguably have had a hat-trick, but he is a real threat, and he started the season particularly well.
And an early chance for Brentford to get a taste of the Premier League. They've worked so hard to get there, and this is a little taste for them, isn't it, tonight?
It will be, yeah. I'm a little bit concerned about their, the sort of lack of activity in the transfer market. I know they've signed 1 or 2 players. I think the belief is always there from a manager that brings a team up that he might stick with the team that have done it, but he'll soon realise, Thomas Frank, that he does need to invest and speculate to accumulate in order to stay in this division.
All right, Ben, thank you for that. He's going to join me in the commentary box. We're underway, of course, 8 o'clock.
Thanks to Stu and Ben. More from them later. Looking at pictures of Tom Heaton there, who starts in goal, and he is back at United. He's had a couple of pre-season games away from home, but he is back at Old Trafford. He will be loving being between the sticks for the Reds tonight.
Absolutely, and I think the performances, as well. Derby, and obviously the first half against QPR, has pulled off some really good saves. Great to come home, isn't it? Come back here and challenge the likes of David and Dean. So, he'd be loving it.
Yeah.
He really will be. Coming back to a club like this, latter stages of your career, you got to say that. Yeah, brilliant for him. Absolutely brilliant.
I remember a game against Burnley. Do you remember that 0-0?
Yeah, I remember it too well. Yeah,
oh my God, he was sensational that night. But Dean Henderson is back in training now, so he is obviously a keeper with immense talent, come through the ranks just as Tom did. And speaking to him yesterday, he says it's great having Tom there to offer his experience and competition. They've got such a good goalkeeping unit.
Yeah, I mean, it's, for an outsider, sometimes I find that quite hard to take, because so competitive. You think they'd be wishing each other ill luck, but no, they seem to get on really, really well. I think Tom probably knows that he's come here as kind of a backup.
Yeah.
As things stand, it's a battle between Dean and David. Great to have so many keepers on board, by the way. I got to say that. I don't think Ollie's got any problem with that. Well, he has. The problem is selecting one of them. But yeah, great, and it's great. I've been down in training, not of late, but it's great to see the camaraderie and the way they back each other up. Different times, eh?
100%. It's not the old days of Schmeichs and Raymond. They were your two, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the team in full, let's have a quick look at it again, because it's that same back line which started against QPR, isn't it? With Aaron on the right, Brandon on the left, Tedden and Axel together again. And Pereira and Mata starts this time.
Yeah.
Elanga's in from the start this time, Greenwood and Lingard. Now, you were really impressed with Elanga in that second half against QPR, the way he was actually running behind players.
Yeah, I think sometimes in pre-season, Ollie wants to get as many players, get at least 45 minutes under the belts as possible. And I thought the second half we ended up with a lot of footballers, Mata, Pereira, Levitt, Garner. They're all lovely players. They all want to get on the ball. But what struck for me was Elanga getting in behind. And listen, he could have scored 1 or 2 before he scored. I was really impressed with him. He's got bags of pace, I got to say that. He took his goal really, really well with his left foot. He had a better opportunity before that when he went
the second half.
Start of the second half we went through, but just was a bit heavy touch. So for me, he stood out by far. I got to say that. I mean, the second half, as I said, was a mismatch of all our players, all the footballers in together. But I thought he stood out, and I'm really impressed with him.
Even finished the game in your old position, left back for a bit.
Yeah.
See it. A man of many talents. Also, Van der Beek on the bench as well, Dallo on the bench as well. So, you know, players are returning. Bruno's back in training. More will be coming back. So it's starting to look a bit stronger, that squad. OK, you mentioned a bit about the team bonding and how important it is to be tight-knit. And we saw evidence of that in that recent training camp at Penny Hill.
Is the camera on? Is it on that?
Salut, salut. Salam alaikum.
I'm telling he's Hannibal. We're here to work hard. Let's get this game. Come on.
How good is it to be in this magnificent surrounding with your team and been able to put in a lot of work for the week?
It's fantastic. You know, the facilities are great. We're together. That's the main thing, that we have a bond. You eat lunch. You have a barbecue. You meet each other in the afternoons, and it's a chance to really do some good work and put a foundation for the rest of the season for these boys and men. Some of them are men as well, and it's a decision we made. Okay, we can just drive up the road and have great facilities at Carrington, but it is special to have that pre-season tour feeling.
You're so confident about it. Who would be in your relay team? I want start.
Do you want to start to finish?
Yeah.
Start. We'll have Rashi.
Okay.
He'll make sure you
blast out the blocks.
Yeah. Then it'd be me.
You'll go second, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Third, we'll have Ted.
Yeah.
Tenamengi. And last, J-Mo.
Okay, I like that.
No one's beating us.
It's been great. It's been hot, very summery, which is nice. It's very nice to see this weather here in England. And we are training hard. We are training double sessions, some days physical work, tactical work, and also technical work, which is what we have to do in pre-season. Team bonding is good because, of course, we are together every single day. Good atmosphere, good attitude, so I think the managers are happy, we are happy, and we just need to keep going to be ready for that first game of the season.
And that's all we've got time for on United Daily.
Has got this. Well, that's all the time we have for today on United Daily. See you next week.
Hi to the little devils there, Zach and Charlie. They were great fun to work with. Never work with kids and animals, they say. I don't know, I disagree with that now, because they were great fun to work with. But looking back at the experience at Penny Hill, I mean, you're a veteran of many a pre-season tour as a player, and as an ambassador now, you've been on a lot and know how great they are, not just for the work on the pitch, but that team, that time off it, which is invaluable.
Absolutely. I mean, normally we're different parts of the globe, aren't we? Whether we're in Australia, Asia, America's been very popular of late. It gives the lads a great opportunity to gel and bond, and obviously for young lads to come in and do their bit as well. There's normally 4 or 5, maybe even 6 travel away with us. This time around they've been given a bigger opportunity, haven't they, when you see like Shoratira and Palistri and 1 or 2 others, Levitt, you know, Alanga. it gives them a great opportunity to show Ollie that they're more than capable of playing for Manchester United, and they're probably more relaxed doing it here as well. It's been a strange pre-season. I think we've got to hold our hands up, go down, training in a down there, which is supposed to be a great facility, playing QPR, playing Derby. But it's fantastic for the young lads. You know, a lot of lads have played in the Euros, coming back now in drifts and drabs, should be back by next week. But it's good to see, it really is. And it's a test for him, it really is. And, you know, Ollie be looking at him, he'll have heard quite a bit about him in pre-season. Listen, we've seen Alanga, we've seen Shoretira play as well. And just to rubber stamp him a bit more, to show Ollie that, you know, we can play in big games.
Yeah, certainly can. OK, now Lee Grant was part of that training group down at Penny Hill. The veteran keeper is a great voice in that dressing room, and we caught up with him down in Surrey.
So Lee, because of the Euros and the internationals, there's a particular youthfulness about this squad, and obviously we're seeing them getting opportunities in the games and stuff. Do you get joy out of that, seeing that? Is that, you know, one of the good things about pre-season?
I do, yeah. I think I do in particular now because I'm that bit older, and for me, as I say, part of my role here now is to be a mentor to those younger guys and to demonstrate and to show them the way, and it's nice to be able to do that. And the guys that we have here, you know, the young guys are all on their own journeys, but a lot of them are really focused on becoming Manchester United first team players, which is great, and they all have an opportunity to do that. They all want to make that step up, so yeah, it's really nice to be able to be a part of. It helps you to stay young as well, to be around young guys that are, you know, working hard and striving. So yeah, I love it, and yeah, it brings, as you say, a little bit more excitement, and I get a lot of joy from it as well, because I've got my own son who's trying to make his journey into the game, and it's just nice to see people working hard with that, you know, that genuine thirst and excitement for things.
And obviously a lot of them were involved on Sunday, as were yourself. Was it good to go back to Pride Park and see some old faces again?
I loved every minute of it, and what it reminded me is how much I enjoy playing. So, as you said earlier, predominantly my role at this football club has been one of support, and when I get the opportunity to play, it really does remind me how much I enjoy playing. And that sounds such an odd thing to say when you are playing football every day, but being on the pitch with a shirt on, all of those emotions and feelings come running back, and obviously even more so for me at a club like Derby County, where I've spent so many years in my career. So yeah, really enjoyed it.
And we've got Brentford next, at Old Trafford next week. How refreshing is it to have a new team in the Premier League?
It's fantastic.
Been there for a while.
Yeah, fantastic. It's a really good club, really well-run football club with a very clear vision of what they're trying to do. I mean, I played against them a couple of times in my career, obviously, having played at that level, but things have changed immensely since I've played them. Different stadium, huge turnover of players. They've done unbelievable in terms of how they've managed the squad, in terms of losing big players and going again. Yeah, new staff. So really good club, as I say, with a really nice structure and nice feel about it. And I'm sure that they'll have a good impact on the division next season.
We saw Leeds do something similar last year. Do you think Brentford could have a similar impact? And what's?
I do, yeah. I really do, because you're looking at quite a unique team, a unique club. So smaller club, but London club, so attractive as well to some people. But as I say, the way they run the football club, the framework, the ideas, the forward-thinking mentality, the use of technology and statistics, all of that stuff for me is really refreshing, and their players and the staff have bought into it massively. And when you have a club that's very united and solid in terms of, and driven in terms of where they're trying to go, have you seen with Leeds, it's like it can propel you endlessly, really, because their goal and their vision's so clear. So as a squad, as a playing staff, as a coaching staff, I'm sure Brentford will be able to follow a similar path to Leeds, and have a really strong season next year.
Any particular players to look out for fans next season?
For us or for Brentford?
For Brentford.
That's a tough one, actually. I like the goalkeeper, I must admit. I really like the goalkeeper. I've watched him from his journey at Blackburn over to Brentford, and he's obviously been linked with Arsenal, I think, as recently as last season. But his technique, and what's quite surprising is he's not one of the biggest goalkeepers you would see, but his technique's at a really high level. So for me, actually, I enjoy watching him just for how he approaches the game, the way he distributes the ball. So he'll be an exciting one to watch, and I'm sure he'll go and do well this season.
And just finally, the match will see fans back at Old Trafford again. You would have been there at Fulham in May. How good will it be to have that atmosphere?
Yeah, it'll be incredible. It'll be incredible. We've had a couple of little sort of tasters of that with the Europa League final, and of course with pre-season game even as recently as last week. So yeah, really looking forward to getting a full house back into Old Trafford. I know the fans will be looking forward to it, and the players even more so. So yeah, really excited about that prospect.
Yeah, Lee Grant there, just as we were watching that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's made his way out. He was just chatting with Thomas Frank, actually, the Brentford manager. You saw those pictures just before. As Ole came down the tunnel, there was a great round of applause for him from the fans in that Stretford end. And that was lovely to hear, because we were starved of having fans here for so long at Old Trafford, weren't we? And the atmosphere, even though it's not full tonight, will be, like we said earlier, 30,000 or so. It will give a really good atmosphere, albeit in only a friendly.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the Fulham game here, it was electric, it really was, and to top it all, Cavani's goal as well, how good was that? Obviously petered out a little bit after we drew 1-1, but it's just great to have fans in. I think after seeing the Euros held in, well, the majority of games England played were in England, just the atmosphere. I think it's realised how important fans are. They're everything. You know what I mean? We've been down here plenty of times and there's been nobody into it in the last, what, 14, 15 months. It's not the same. Definitely not the same. So the players will be relishing fans coming back in, and great to have 30,000 in tonight, and then the next game is Everton. I presume it's going to be a little bit more.
Yeah, about 55.
55, brilliant. And then Leeds, August the 14th.
75,000, but you could probably sell 750,000 for that one, no doubt. Under 16s are free tonight, which is a nice touch. Great to see our younger fans here this evening. Like I said, hopefully about 55,000 against Everton. That's nearing a sellout, so if you do plan to go, you better be quick. And then, of course, that Leeds game as well. And I mean, all what we're doing now, all the pre-season preparations, is about being right for that Leeds game. And that's going to be such a tough way to start the season against a really good team. But here at Old Trafford, in a massive game, you know, it's where we want to be.
Absolutely. I mean, Cole hit the nail spot on the head last week, saying, listen, it's all about getting fit, making sure we don't get injuries, don't pick up injuries, that when August the 14th comes against Leeds, we're really at it. Now, we're going to have more experienced players dropping in now, coming in and training. So you'll see it more like on Saturday against Preston, probably a more experienced team. And then you fast forward another week to Everton, you'll probably see the gist of what Ollie's going to pick the week after. So Leeds is the aim, August the 14th. We have to start the season better than we did last year. And we got beat at home here against Crystal Palace in the opener. And then, even though we had a kind of topsy-turvy next 4 or 5 weeks, we didn't really play that well. So the Brighton the game. Remember Brighton away, second game of the season?
I don't know how we won that.
Yeah, we won 3-2. So it's imperative that we start the season, and I think Ollie knows that as well. We have to be up and running. We got to be. Leeds is going to be tough, there's no doubt about that, but the next 5 or 6 fixtures we have to win them, as simple as that, and get as many points under his belt as quickly as possible, so we're up there fighting.
You mentioned your old teammate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He is just pitchside to talk about his team selection with Stuart Gardner.
Well, Ole, there's going to be just about 30,000 in here tonight. It makes a bit of a difference, doesn't it?
Brilliant, just coming into the stadium, feeling the energy, and just seeing the fans when we drove in. That's it's different. So hopefully we're looking at, or we're getting towards the end of the tunnel now.
And the lineup tonight, what are you hoping for from the lads? I think just a couple of changes from the starting lineup of QPR, Elanga and Mata coming in.
Yeah, no, we need a response, of course. We need a good experience, but it's still about minutes. Of course, Brentford is a new challenge. It's a Premier League team, which will test our boys, because we're now getting closer to the league as well, and we need to see the confidence come in, the minutes under the belt for many of them.
And Brentford, obviously, this is sort of a taste of what they're going to have this season, going to stadiums like this. But are you impressed with what you saw from them last year?
Yeah, I think the last few years, so 3 or 4 years, Thomas, I had a chat with him here now, and of course him and Christopher from Norway, they come into the stadium here, and this is what it's about for them, of course, enjoying Old Trafford, but also trying to test yourself against the better teams. Hopefully we are one of the better teams in the league. So but I was very pleased for them when they finally made it, because they had a few years when they were so close.
A couple of lads who haven't played minutes yet, Diogo on the bench, Donny as well.
Yeah.
So are they ready for?
Yeah, they'll get. I think Diogo might be half-time, maybe the last half an hour. Donny probably the last half an hour. So they're just getting some minutes, and then probably starting against Preston.
And walking out here, do you think, oh, we're not that far away from the big kickoff, really, are we?
And that's the thing. It gets suddenly it's there, and we don't have time to lose now, because we need to be sharp straight away. We've got to. We got the highest intensity game in the league in the first one, so we need to be ready. And in a sense, that's a good thing, because the players know they have to get fit.
Thanks a lot, Ollie.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks to Ollie for that. Nice to hear him say that, you know, he's really pleased for Brentford to get into the Premier League, because they were so close so often. That's the kind of guy Ollie is. Team are on their way out behind us to go through their warm-ups. Actually, it is good to see the likes of Donny there now, isn't it? Donny van der Beek and Diogo Dalot, because the young group does need some more experienced heads around it. I think there's no more evidence of that than that crazy 5-minute spell against QPR. So yeah, good to see Donny. He's been training back at the Carrington training complex, hasn't he, getting ready. So as we approach kickoff, someone like Donny could be an important player going forward those early weeks of the season.
Yeah, it's amazing you say experience. I think Donny's still, what, 23, 24? And Diogo Dalot's 22, something like that.
But they're still 4 or 5 years ahead of some
absolutely.
of these.
Yeah, well, Dalot spent last season out at ACD, out at Milan, so Dalot doing good. But yeah, the more experienced players that come back in, the better help for the younger lads, because they'll learn a lot off more experience, and they'll guide them as well. You know, in matches like this, where they'll be a bit nervous. Yeah. You know, the young lads will be a bit nervous. You know, playing at home in pre-season, which is not rarely done, so very rarely done. So they'll be really looking forward to it.
Do you think Dalot can come back and properly challenge now Wan-Bissaka for that right back spot?
I hope so. He's gone out last year on loan. He's played plenty of games. They had a decent season, Milan as well. So yeah, I hope he can come back in, because we had high hopes from him when we signed him about, what, 3.5 years ago, 3 seasons ago, something like that. Yeah. It's only 3 or 4 years ago. He loves going forward. Yeah. Absolutely loves going forward. Yeah, and I hope he's learned a bit more defensive side of things, because Italian football can be a bit like that. So hopefully he's picked up 1 or 2 things.
Jesse Lingard is someone who is desperate for a chance, I guess, after that great loan spell at West Ham United. He was brilliant, wasn't he, towards the end of that season on loan. Was almost at the Euros with England. He was one of those who just missed out. But this is like a new opportunity for him. Back at Old Trafford, he loves this club. He came through the ranks here. He will be wanting to go and put on a display and show that he should be starting that game against Leeds. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, when you think of it, I don't think we realise how hard it is for players to come in and come out of games. You don't really get in a rhythm, and that's what he got at West Ham. You know, he played plenty of matches back to back. His confidence was sky high. He had an unbelievable 3 or 4 months down there, and he's got every chance to come in here and say to Ollie, I want to stay here. You know, this is a huge club. Everybody wants to stay here, really, Sully. Everybody wants to play. So, well done to him last year for his loan spell. He played really well, I've got to say that.
He certainly did. I mean, even this is brilliant. Alan Keegan, the stadium announcer, reading out the team, and the fans cheering it. We're absolutely loving this. It's a sign of, hopefully, better things to come, isn't it, after a really difficult 16 months for everybody globally.
Great night for a match as well, Sully. Great night.
Yeah, well, it's been a dodgy day in Manchester, hasn't it? Thunderstorms, rain. We've had the lot today. But we're looking at a group of the younger players here, Den. Now, they could quite easily have been involved in the under-23s game. They played a friendly last night against Stalybridge. This is what happened.
Fernandez.
Fernandez picks out Zidane Iqbal. It's a lovely turn, and what about the finish? Superb finish from Zidane Iqbal. Excellent work by Alvaro Fernandez, but that's tremendous work by Zidane Iqbal, who does have some class about him. Struggled to get that second goal, United. Into the second half, still 1-0. They've had loads of chances, mind you. Dominating possession still. That's a wonderful back heel, and Hugoworth is in. Hugoworth gets behind the defenders and scores for 2-0. Dylan Hugoworth, who's had a few opportunities in this game, makes absolutely no mistake with that one. Again, lovely build-up. These absolutely filthy conditions here. Now lashing with rain at Bower Fold, but United still playing the football. Fernandez to Hardley. It's a lovely ball to Hugoworth again, who once more is in behind and again finds the net. That's 2 quick-fire goals for Dylan Hugoworth. 3 for Manchester United. And now they lead 3-0 at Bowerfold. Well, they've been outclassed, Stalybridge, but they kept going. You have to say that. Looked dangerous from set pieces like this as well. We have a free kick from over on the right-hand side, which is half away, and it drops here to Scott Bacour, who scores! Consolation for Stalybridge Celtic, you wouldn't deny them that. Scott Bacour finds the net here. Decent ball in, United couldn't get it away. Not too much space here, really. Now Savage. Oh, that's a lovely ball to Garnacho. Fine finish. It's all about the pass, you have to say, from Charlie Savage. But substitute Alejandro Garnacho makes no mistake. Well, the fitness he's telling here. United, unsurprisingly, a fitter side. And still time for more here. And again, Zidane Iqbal involved. Savage. Hansen. There's a nice ball to McNeil on that right-hand side. To find cross as well, and tucked in by No Memora. Well, that was length of the field stuff from the United youngsters. Starts on the edge of their own area. Zidane Iqbal here, with a lovely touch. Savage then helps it on to Hansen. Strong running from McNeil, and a simple finish from No Memora. 5-1. Great work out for United's under-23s tonight. They've beaten Stalybridge Celtic by 5 goals to 1. Could have had more as well. They've surprisingly outclassed the Northern Premier Division club. And a splendid work out for Neil Wood's side, who win 5-1 at Bowerfold.
Yeah, good victory that for what was a very young under-23 squad. Bar Paul McShaney you saw there.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Former Ireland player, of course, great lad as well. But yeah, very young team. Congratulations on a terrific win against Stalybridge there. As we check out these shots of the Brentford players warming up, big day for them coming to Old Trafford. Will be even bigger when we meet them here in the Premier League. But to give you a bit of a lowdown on what to expect from Brentford, here's Dave Stowland, Danny Webber.
Well, Brentford have been a fascinating side to watch over the last few years in the Championship. Danny Webber with me to just sort of discuss what's been going on at Griffin Park, and now indeed at their new home as well in recent years. And Danny, fascinating really to see them in the Premier League this season coming, but in the last couple of years they've really stepped up their game and caught the eye.
Yeah, they have. They've been it's been bubbling and bubbling. You know, they've hit the playoffs a couple of years and not quite made it. But I think that's been good for them. It's enabled them to establish themselves as a top side in the Championship, whilst building the foundations of their football club, really, which is developing people and developing players, selling them on, which is a big part of what they do. I think the owner, when he bought the club, obviously came from a gambling background, not personally gambling, having a gambling company, and he brought his philosophy into his beloved Brentford FC, and it's really worked in terms of using statistics to sign players, and then obviously what he's put in place, the foundations to be able to nurture players with the coaches, with the style, going as far as nutrition and the training ground. As you mentioned, they've invested in the stadium. All these things have been part of the course for him to grow the football club into a sustainable product. And I think if you look at Ollie Watkins and Ezri Konsa and Mepham, people who they've sold but brought in for small money and sold for big money, it's shown and it's proven their concept. Same with Saeed Benrahma playing in the Premier League. So they are going to come up and they will compete because they've got a few good players there that will and can compete at Premier League level. They'll need to get off to a quick start. But I'm excited to see them play because this is the model that they have is a relatively new model in English football. Seems to be successful, but can it rise up to the next level?
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? The recruitment's been really good, as you say, but the recovery's been excellent as well, hasn't it, when they've lost those players? I'm looking at the players they've sold for more than 10 million in the last few years. Scott Hogan, Chris Mepham, Ezri Konsa, as you mentioned, Neil Maupay, Saeed Benrahma and Ollie Watkins. Watkins they bought for just under £2 million and sold for 33. I mean, incredible to see that happening, but also to think that when they sold Watkins and Benrahma joined West Ham initially on loan, the previous season they'd scored 43 goals between them. And yet Brentford recovered from that to then kick on and get promotion last season, of course, bringing in Ivan Toney.
Yeah, and it does show the value of the staff doing the work behind the scenes. Being able to say, OK, we're comfortable letting Ollie Watkins go because we have got Ivan Toney lined up, or we're comfortable letting Saeed Benrahma go because Sergio Canos can come in and do what he's doing. So, yeah, it's very good. And not only that, it shows the way they develop in the building. They've had progressive managers over the last few years, the likes of Dean Smith, who's now at Aston Villa doing a great job. So I spoke about Mark Warburton early on, and so that philosophy of passing the ball, playing good football with intensity has got better and better as the years have gone on, and Thomas Frank's taken it to another level again.
Yeah, and obviously, as we mentioned, personnel changes over the years, doesn't it? But when you think that the season before last was their 9th playoff campaign and they hadn't won any of them, that must have played on their mind. So the win at Wembley last season must have been huge psychologically as well as obviously massive financially for them.
Yeah, well, if you keep knocking at the door, eventually you get in, don't you? And, you don't normally have to knock for so long, but they did. They were persistent. They were sure about what they were doing. They didn't change it and go to something different. They stayed true to their beliefs. And, amassing 87 points, finishing 3rd in the league as they did do in the Championship, gave them the opportunity to get in the playoffs and win it this time. And, the chance came and they took it.
A new opponent for the Premier League season then, and we'll get a glimpse of them this afternoon.
Yeah, looking forward to see Brentford play, actually, particularly when the Premier League starts proper. Old Trafford again looking magnificent as always. Again, like we said earlier, even better when there are fans here at the Theatre of Dreams. And in the corner just to the right of the camera now, there are some new barrier seats. For more on that, Stuart Gardner is with Colette Roche.
Fans who are making their return to Old Trafford tonight will notice some differences from over the summer, including here in the northeast corner with the barrier seating as well. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so what we've got here is 1,500 new barrier seats that we've installed over the summer period, and that's been on the back of quite a lengthy conversation with Must, our supporters trust, who are really keen to put this in as a good, safe option for our supporters on match day. So we're delighted that today our friendly match will be the first opportunity that our fans get to sample these rail seats.
But of course it's still very much an all-seater stadium.
Absolutely. So Old Trafford, exactly the same as other large stadium, are all-seater stadium. So our fans do need to sit. However, what this will do is it will make it safer for those that do temporarily stand, but also it will future-proof us. So in the future, should any legislation changes come about that do allow safe standing, then we would be in a good position to be able to facilitate that.
Quite a lot of talk from fans about improvements for the stadium. Have there been several improvements as well as this over the summer period?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we've been really busy actually at Old Trafford over the summer period, even though we've not been playing any matches. So clearly we've resurfaced all of the pitch, and hopefully that means we're still at the same standards. That'll, fingers crossed, get us 3 years on the run as the Premier League Grounds Team of the Year. We've also installed new floodlights, LED floodlights, so I think that will make for a really good play for our players, but also for the quality of the visual product, both on broadcasting and here in the stadium, and the LED. So from a sustainability perspective, it reduces our carbon footprint.
And also we hope as well a new, if you like, era of fan engagement as well in this coming campaign.
Absolutely. So back in June, I think we made some very strong commitments to our fans to engage them more widely and more deeply in things that are really important to them. And over the last couple of months, we've started to make, I think, big strides in that way, whether that's in investing in the stadium. We've also replenished and improved the fans forum. And we're also going to launch our new fan advisory board next season. So all of that will make for much broader and meaningful debate with our fans around what's important for them.
And it's actually good to have people in here tonight, isn't it?
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, so tonight we're hoping to have around 30,000 fans here. So everybody's really excited, as you can imagine. We're hoping then to ramp that up for our next friendly match. So by the time the season starts, I'd expect this place to be full. Fingers crossed.
Thanks for joining us, Colette. Cheers.
Thank you.
Nicely done, Colette. And like she says there, the barrier seating is future-proofing, really, isn't it? Of course, safe standing not yet permissible in the Premier League, but if it should happen, it would be a magnificent thing. And not just that, but the updated works done at Old Trafford to be ready for the new season, which are still ongoing as well. And we want to make this the world-famous stadium it should be, and right up there with the magnificent new stadiums which are being constructed, not just nationwide but worldwide, yet none have the history this place does.
Yeah, I mean, this is the theatre of dreams, isn't it? And listen, I know scoreboard end like to stand up anyway, but safe standing is good, you know what I mean? It adds to an extra layer of atmosphere, I'd say. So hopefully that'll come in at some point. I know we've seen it in Europe, haven't we? I think in Germany, the Bundesliga, you see it quite a lot. But yeah, this stadium is a dream to play in. And yeah, it needs a little bit of work doing to it. I think the club recognise that, and they've gone about setting about starting to do that. So
certainly have. Yeah. And the away fans love coming here as well. It's always a great place to come as an away fan. There's only a handful of Brentford fans here today for this friendly, but no doubt it will be swarming with bees when they come here in the Premier League. And it's a proper day out, isn't it, when you come as an away fan? And we know that they make great voice, just like our travelling army do. I mean, it was brilliant to see our fans away at Derby, then QPR. It was a proper throwback to how it used to be pre-COVID. It makes for
the game, isn't it? That's what the game's all about, the atmosphere. Yeah, there's a couple of coach loads of Brentford fans have probably come up. When was the last time they've played here, Sully? It's a long time ago, I know that.
Yeah, in the league, it was like 1947.
But these have
in the League Cup, they've been back since.
Yeah,
but yeah, league.
But these have been itching for years and years to get to the Premier League. Almost did the year before last, and just falling short against Fulham in the playoff final.
Yeah.
And eventually have got here now. And it'd be really interesting to see how they get on, because as the lad spoke earlier, they're a really good footballing side. They're an attacking team. They score plenty of goals. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
You won't miss them tonight either, the Brentford players. They're in their brand new bright yellow kit, so pretty eye-catching it is. OK, now this is the third game of pre-season so far. With a look back at what's happened in the previous two, here's Niall.
With the European Championships and Copa America taking place this summer, some of Manchester United's more senior players have been away for a little bit longer, taking a well-deserved break. So it's been down to some of the younger lads to show Ole Gunnar Solskjaer exactly what they can do this pre-season. The player who's impressed me the most has been 17-year-old Shola Shoretire. You remember towards the end of last season, Shola made his Premier League debut against Newcastle United and then became the youngest ever player to represent the club in European competition, breaking a record held by Norman Whiteside for many, many years. This is what he's impressed me with in pre-season so far. I'll just highlight Shola here, and what you'll notice what he did just then is he won the ball back in the final third. Such a dangerous asset to have for a forward player. It's a brilliant thing if your forward players can win turnovers of possession in the final third and then try and create chances. And that's exactly what Shola Shoretire does here. Excellent vision. It's the pass through to Pellistri, which is inch perfect, and it's an excellent finish from the Uruguayan, as we'll roll on and see here. Beautiful touch around the keeper, and a great finish too, by the way. But the one thing I think that many people don't realise about Shola is how good he is in the half space. And if you're not familiar with the half space, it's an area of the pitch between the edge of the 18-yard box and the edge of the D, which I'll come on to show you in a second. Also, Shola Shoretire's vision. As you can see with that pass there, that's exactly what we want from him. Picking up the ball in these dangerous areas here, which is called the half space. And I'll just highlight what I'm talking about here. It's this area here, between the edge of the 18-yard box and the edge of the D. Forward players who operate in this area can be really, really dangerous, and it's beneficial for creating chances. This move, he takes the ball from a little bit wider and lets the ball run across his body, and again, it's the same thing. Picks his head up early, scans, looks for that player in red, and that man is Anthony Elanga. And you'll see here, Elanga takes a couple of really good touches before setting himself and finishing it well into the far corner. He's been excellent in pre-season as well, the Swedish forward, by the way. But we'll take a look again and we'll see what Shola does really well is he analyses the action in front of him, picks the ball up in that half space, and it's that diagonal ball that really opens things up for him, and he's able to find Elanga, who finishes it into the far corner. So some really promising signs from Shola Shoretire this pre-season. He's obviously such a young talent, still got plenty of room to grow. He's on the bench today after a couple of good games in pre-season, doesn't quite get the start today, but he's got a really bright future ahead of him, and I'm excited to see exactly how he does for Manchester United in the years to come.
Yeah, good work, Niall. Well, one of the young players with no doubt a big future is Shola Shoretire, and it's hard to believe that he's not 18 till February, isn't it? He has already made his Man United debut. He's been regular player for the under-23s despite his tender years. And he is a player we believe in a lot, don't we? Loads of potential.
Yeah.
How big a future could he have, and what must he do now? What must he work on to try and realise his potential?
As you say, he's only young, and the experience he's had in the last couple of weeks will stand to him, give him a little bit of taste of what he wants. We know he's multi-talented. We've seen that with the 23s. Made his debut last season. Skillful player. He's just got to hang in there, make sure he catches Ollie's eye. He'll drag him in with first team training every now and again and keep an eye on him. But what a great experience the last couple of weeks, to play a couple of games. Fantastic.
And is it all about playing games now, getting games under your belt, whether that's with the 23s, whether it's in and out of that United first team group, just accumulating that experience of playing in matches?
Yeah, it's all about progression now for him. We know how good he is, we know what skill level he's at the moment. Hopefully he's going to get stronger, isn't he, his next couple of years physically, which will aid him as well. But yeah, just to make sure that he keeps that progressive trail on the way up. Multi-talented players, a lot of them there, Hannibal as well, really talented players. So the exciting future for the academy players. It's never easy breaking in, we know that. It's never easy breaking in and staying in. Sometimes that's the hardest thing. But I gotta say, the future's looking rosy with the amount of academy players we've got coming through.
Well, one player who came through the academy and has gone on to have a really good career at Manchester United is, of course, Jesse Lingard, who the likes of Shola and Hannibal will talk to and no doubt pick the brains of about how he came to where he is. And let's hear from him, shall we? We caught up with him down at Penny Hill.
Through ball to Pellistri. Pellistri looking for Jesse Lingard. Lingard's in here. What a chance and what a start for Manchester United in just the third minute of the game.
No, it was amazing. You could hear United fans, chanting all game. We missed that feeling, and even the Derby supporters as well. It was a great atmosphere, and we got the job done in the end, which is a win. Yeah, massively. You know, I did well there. I was scoring goals, you know, helping the team, and you know that only gives me confidence. And you know, coming back here now, I'm full of confidence. You know, it's been good getting back onto the pitch with the boys, and like I say, we've got a few more games to go now before you know the Leeds game, but we'll prepare right, and you know, we'll stay focused. No, I was watching them obviously. You know, they're my boys, and you know, are still supporting, and you know, it was a shame about the Europa League final, but you know, we bounced back, and that's what this club's you know, always been about. It's always been bouncing back and coming stronger next season. I've got to stay true to myself. Got to carry on working hard, you know, in training and doing well in the games and show what I can do. Yeah, it'll be amazing. You know, pre-season games are all about getting minutes, but you know, we still have that winning mentality. You know, to win winning games, and you know, to have the fans back will be you know, an amazing feeling. You know, I'm sure the atmosphere will be be booming, and you know, the lads will be focusing up for it. Yeah, I mean, obviously they did really well last season. They got you know, got quite a lot of good players, and you know, it will be a test, but like I say, we've got to focus on ourselves and stick to our game plan, and you know, as long as we stay focused and concentrate throughout the game, we should get the job done. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, every new season's a new challenge, you know, especially for the team, and you know, on an individual basis. But you know, I'm ready, and you know, I'll stay ready.
Yeah, so Jesse Lingard, no doubt, will hope to be in that starting lineup for Leeds, and he's certainly been putting in the work on a training pitch, and certainly been playing well in the games when he's been involved. So he's got a chance, and like we said earlier, it is an opportunity for him, isn't it, with players returning late after the Euros, for him to say, I want to be in that starting lineup, and I want to be a Manchester United player for not just the first few weeks of the season, but for the season ahead. Yeah, I mean, he's been impressive in a couple of games as well, so I'll be looking to continue that form here against Brentford at home. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying it's all about confidence playing football. And we've seen that last season where he got a run of games at West Ham. Did extremely well, I got to say that. Yeah. You know, scored plenty of goals, assisted plenty of goals. And yeah, he's got a chance here in the next 2 or 3 games to put a stamp down. You know, he's been, I suppose, in a way, for him, you know, he's had a run of games where, you know, I suppose if he'd have been involved with England, he might not have had those runs. So he's probably a step ahead of a couple of players in terms of fitness, so that might count to him as well. Then you leave us now, and Robbo's going to be here with us. Your mate Robbo is going to be here at half-time and full-time. You're going to go up with some of our partners. Of course, the fans are back. Our great partners are back as well, which is great to see. Lovely to see us on our new kit with TeamViewer on the front as well, our new principal shirt partners. So great day all round. Den, thanks for being with us pre-match. Stuart and Ben will be with you after this when we look back on the first 2 friendlies of pre-season against Derby and then QPR.
Manchester United rollercoaster ride starts here. Pre-season friendly number 1 of 5 on MUTV. Spread wide again to Burn. The one on his right foot. Dangerous, actually. Davis is forward, and he manages to scramble it away. Chong wins it back. Chong's got a great chance here. Chong, he tries to chip the keeper. In the end, he finds the net, and United take the lead at Pride Park. Shuratire, lovely ball to Pellistri. Pellistri ran the goalkeeper. Super finish. Kazim Richards, there's a bit of space for him. Kazim Richards has a go. It's a wonderful hit. Fully 25 yards. Right, here's Jesse Lingard. Lingard. He's going to go for the curling. Yes, he is! Off the crossbar, down to Pellistri. Full time. First pre-season friendly. First victory for Manchester United. another step on the road to season-ready fitness this afternoon against very decent Championship opposition. Through ball to Pellistri. Pellistri looking for Jesse Lingard. Lingard's in here. What a chance and what a start for Manchester United in just the 3rd minute of the game. Chair wants the return. Dangerous ball in Austin. 1-1. Willock makes space. That took a deflection towards the far post. Here is Dykes. Deflected in. QPR have come from behind and they lead. Adebayo cuts in and has a go. My word, what a strike. Moses Adebayo with an absolute stunner. Good work, now Dykes. Dykes onto his left foot. Dykes! It's 4! Langa, fine finish, really well struck. United beaten in pre-season and lost 4-2 here at the Kiyan Prince Foundation Stadium. Good evening, everyone. Nice to be back home, isn't it? Pre-season friendly number 3 sees United return to Old Trafford. 30,000 in here tonight. Goodness, how they have been missed. A step nearer to normality tonight, and of course a step closer to United getting the real business started on August the 14th. It will be here soon. And at the moment, the Old Trafford capacity is being increased, if you like, on a staggered basis as we head to full capacity against Leeds in a few weeks. 30,000 in tonight, and they get to their feet because Manchester United are emerging from the tunnel, led by the captain, Nemanja Matic. And what a difference it makes having thousands of people in here after that year or so with no noise at all when the teams came out. Now there's the Old Trafford roar. United coming out first, Brentford will be behind them. And it's great to have fans back inside the Theatre of Dreams. Well, look, this is where YouTube and Facebook viewers are going to leave us. To continue watching, you must subscribe to MUTV. So goodbye for now if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. So both sets of teams are out on the Old Trafford surface. Let's just remind you of the team news again, beginning with United. Anthony Elanga, Wan-Bissaka coming in for James and Pellistri. That's the difference to the starting line at the QPR. Front 3 full of threat. Matic the captain, Van der Beek and Dalot on the bench. They're looking for their first pre-season minutes, and they will get some action later on tonight. Now Brentford, ahead of their first top-flight campaign for 74 years. Ivan Toney tore up the Championship. 33 goals propelled Brentford into the big time. Lovely night too for United Academy graduate Max Hagar.